Representatives for the first time since their tenure performed a historic duty during the week, which saw Governor of Kaduna State, Namadi, Sambo, considered for the position of the Vice President. Welcome to another fresh edition of House Report on NITV. I am Adeshayo Adebomi.
And I am Rachel Owa.
The day's proceeding of the House on the 18th of May 2010 started at exactly 11 minutes past 11, with the House filled up and members of the House all excited and ready to perform a historic constitutional duty. After the opening prayer by the Speaker of the House, Right Honourable Dimeji Bankole, a letter received from the President of the Federation, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, was read to the House.
Honourable members, this is from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nomination of Vice President. In compliance with the provisions of Section 146, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I have the honor to nominate Alhaji Namadi Sambo for consideration as Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by the House of Representatives. While hoping, I say again, while hoping that this exercise will receive the usual expeditious consideration and approval of the Honourable House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, please accept, Mr. Speaker, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCON.
Leader of the House, Honorable Tunde Akogun, moved the first motion of the day, and Honorable Danladi Hamza from Kano State seconded him. Afterwards, the Speaker announced that the voting to consider Namadi Sambo would be done individually, but this suggestion created a disarray in the House, and it took a long time before the House came back to order.
One by one.
Yes. Point of constitutional order.
The first person to vote. Point of order. Would you please hold on?
When the House finally came to orderliness, Honourable Dimeji Bankole decided to rephrase his earlier statement and said the voting will be done in a manner that will not create any controversy. There were rowdy scenes during the confirmation, with lawmakers screaming and shouting to delay proceedings. At one point, those supporting the Kaduna governor began singing, "All we are saying, give us Sambo," while the House Speaker Dimeji Bankole repeatedly rammed his gavel on his desk, calling for order.
At the end of the session, Alhaji Sambo's nomination was widely accepted and endorsed.
Those in favor, please say aye. Point of order. Those against, say nay. Point of order. The ayes have it.
No other motion was considered for the day after that exercise.
I'm happy first and foremost because I can say I share dual citizenship in the House. I represented Kaduna South since 1999 to 2007, and I think I should be the happiest person that the Vice President now has come not only from the Northwest but in Kaduna, from Kaduna State.
Well, absolutely. Coming from the same zone as the Vice President, I certainly am very glad that the House, in a very bold and expeditious manner, passed or approved the nomination of the President. If you recall, a couple of days ago, some of us from the Northwest, in fact the entire caucus of the Northwest in the House of Representatives, requested Mr. President to ensure that his nominee for the office of the Vice President goes to the Northwest. The understanding is that since the late President is from the Northwest, then for the purpose of peace, stability and equity, it is important that that zone is not left in the loop. And I'm glad that the President did, and I'm happy that my colleagues in the House of Representatives not only approved the nomination, but they did so without rancor, they did so expeditiously, and they did so in a manner that clearly gives the Vice President the legitimacy and the confidence to join the President in inspiring the ship of the Nigerian state.
Therefore, House Leader Tunde Akogun moved for adjournment for the following day, Wednesday, May 19, 2010. On Wednesday, the 19th of May 2010, the House was a shadow of itself as a large number of members obviously exempted themselves.
I mean, I was not surprised. They had to perform a historic duty yesterday.
So they had to rest.
They had to rest. The first bill presented for the day was a bill to amend the National Humanities Rights Commission Act 1995 and for all the matters connected therewith 2010. Honorable Cherry spoke strongly on the issue.
To place Nigeria in this place among the Committee of Nations. Another mischief this bill will cure is to ensure that Nigerian human rights practices is in international best practices. Mr. Speaker, sometime in 2007, Nigeria was downgraded in the human rights status from grade A to grade B as a result of our poor human rights standing. Mr. Speaker, the Senate has passed this bill. The passage of this bill is predicated upon the hard work by the human rights community, members of the two committees of the Senate and the House on Human Rights and the international community to ensure that Nigerian Human Rights Act is in compliance with the international best practices. Mr. Speaker, as I speak with you, Nigeria has up to June 11th to submit an act.
The bill was put to vote and passed. Two other bills presented on the floor of the House was a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority Act and the bill for an act to provide for free zones in Nigeria, establish the Nigerian Free Zones Authority, and to repeal the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Act and for all the related matters. Here is Honorable Abikadabri's view on this issue.
My short contribution will be first to ask some questions. What has been the advantages of the free trade zones in Nigeria as at today? Comparable with what we have pumped into it, it is not commensurate at all, Mr. Speaker. And I'll give an example of Snake Island in Lagos, which, as a reporter, I discovered was a free trade zone. Investigations conducted there showed that it was more of a drain pipe to the economy than an asset. You find that a lot of criminal activities actually take place, and it's a situation of who do you know that you can get anything in. So I believe that this should be supported in all its entirety because it will be beneficial economically to Nigeria to have a commission that will coordinate the activities of free trade zones in Nigeria.
Honorable Betty Apiapia also made a few pointers.
Basically, what the bill is trying to do is to strengthen the laws and general framework of free trade zones. If free trade zones, Mr. Speaker, are not properly demarcated from the custom territories, a country stands to lose so much because the free trade zone, rather than becoming an economic of economic benefit to the country, becomes a drain pipe to the country.
An argument came up later as to whether the bills are the same.
If you look at the sections, the intendment of the bill, the ills sought to correct, they are same in nature. What I try to do in mind is to say, abolish one free zone and have a free zone that will incorporate free processing zones.
What does our rule say? Our rule talk of similar. And if two things are the same, then they can at best be described as that. They cannot be similar. They are the same, that means they are the same in all material subjects. But when they are similar, it means there are certain characteristics that are available to one that cannot be found in the other. That is what similarity is talking about. In this case, based on my limited understanding of the argument, there is no how free trade zone can be the same with export processing zone. There is equally no way that you can tell me that free trade zone is equally similar to export processing zone, because they are distinct and distinguishable. And therefore, once two things are distinct and distinguishable, they can neither be the same nor similar. And therefore, that is the position.
No definite decision was reached at the end of the debate.